I just can't take no pleasure in killing nothing. Just some things you gotta do. Don't mean you have to like.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
You want to know what happens to an eyeball when it gets punctured? You got any idea how much blood jets out of a guy's neck when his throat's been slit?
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Reborn. What up, everyone? DJ Nubis here with you on the Military Radio podcast with my co-host and good friend, Mr. Tony of the fucking Dead. We are the Ghouls of Midnight, where each week we alternate in picks. Might move up to 2 times a week, depending, but it's going to be after the move, of course. But for now, we alternate weeks, picking a movie that we may have seen or may not have seen, and then we go back and review it. This week was my choice, which turns out to be 2015's Deathgasm. I think you've seen it as well as I have. So we're keeping the metal flowing tonight after the intro there.
Oh, yeah.
So Deathgasm is a 2015 New Zealand comedy horror written and directed by Jason Lee Howden in his feature directorial debut. The film follows the title teenage heavy metal band who acquire an ancient piece of sheet music and unwittingly summon an evil entity known as the Blind One. So, yeah, as it states, you take your teenage outcast, basically. We have Brody, played by Milo Cawthorn, who is a big time metalhead. I think his mother died, and then he ended up moving in with his grandparents,
Aunt and uncle.
aunt and uncle.
Yeah.
And of course, the funny scene, he's pulling up with all his gear and his guitar because he's a guitarist and he's a big time metalhead. So the parents are the aunt and uncle are very much conservative and like Bible thumping, and they're just like, oh no.
Yep.
So he ends up, playing with a couple of friends from school, who I think I'm trying to remember the names of his buddies.
They are.
I think he has a cousin,
Dion,
David. Dion and Giles. Yeah. So one plays drums, the other plays, I think, keyboards or something. And anyway, they usually practice out in the garage, away from the aunt and uncle, but they often have to come out. The uncle comes out and says, "Turn that shit down." Yeah. Doesn't like the heavy metal stuff, but at least they give him a space to do that.
True. I kind of think it's more in fear.
Yeah. And of course, Brody faces bullying from his cousin David.
Yeah.
Who's a real jerk off. And I guess at this point he's sort of dating this girl Medina, played by Kimberly Crossman, who's a very attractive chick.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he goes through this bullying, and I think there's a moment where he's with Dion and Giles, and they're in like a classroom or something, just playing Dungeons and Dragons or some shit.
Yep.
And David and one of his buddies comes in with like super soakers with piss in it. It's
disgusting.
So they take a lot of abuse from this guy. But then one day, Brody is in a music store, something he loves to do, and he's perusing the metal stuff, the records, and he comes across this guy named Zach, who's a big time metal dude, and apparently he can play bass and sing. He's got pretty good rough vocals too. I don't know if it's really his vocals or not, but in the movie, certainly passes off pretty well. But he's just one of those people that's like no nonsense, total metalhead, and I think there was a moment they're looking through the records. He pulls like Autopsy out of there, and then I don't know if it was Brody or him. Someone pulled up Poison. He's just like shaking his head, like
no.
No. Anyway, early in this film, what was your first feelings about it all when you were checking it out?
Well, this is probably like the third or fourth time I've seen it, but it was like a while since I did, so like I forgot some things. But first off, Brody's very likable. You feel bad that he's getting picked on, and his mom, the reason he goes to live with them is because she's tried to like go down on the Santa Claus in the mall or something, so she got put in a psych ward for it. I don't know why, but okay. But so that's like on his mind, and then like
she was spreading Christmas cheer.
Yeah, she's swallowing Christmas cheer. Yeah, but the first time I saw this, like I said, there's a lot of likable characters. It's also in the vein of like Evil Dead, so it has like that horror comedy, but it's not like super funny, but like it has its moments, and it's also very bloody and gross and just really cool. And they're like in this small little town in New Zealand, and it's just like one of those like, this place sucks, but yeah, it's I still like it to this day. Like I don't have any like changes in mind about it. I mean, I'm sure you might know some of the songs in that. I can't read half the bands.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I couldn't really remember like the soundtrack, but I pulled it up and there's a lot of great bands on here. So we got Bullet Belt, which I've heard of. They have actually a couple songs on there. Pathology, Lair of the Minotaur, Beast Wars, Midnight Dunslaughter, Izon, who used to sing for Emperor, but then they do have an Emperor track in here as well. So yeah, they've got some pretty solid bands and a soundtrack on there. So that's very cool stuff. But yeah, so Zach, like I said, he plays bass and stuff, and so he and Brody start to bond, and they, this is like your final piece to their band, and when their first practice, they're playing and jamming, and all of a sudden, like Brody's like either rusty or just not very good at guitar yet. He's like, I thought you said you could play.
Yeah,
like I'm just rusty.
Yeah,
he starts going off in his crazy solo that's not really matching the music they're playing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, crappy. That's kind of the solo I would probably do because I'm more of a rhythm.
Yeah,
because I like to sing and I can't play lead.
You remind me a little bit of Wild Stallions from Bill and Ted.
Yeah, I can see that. It's easy to start a band, but if you have any talent, that's another thing.
Right. Yeah, I remember like just my own personal story when I started playing drums way back when. I was playing with some guys and we were just jamming. So I think one of the first songs we were playing was like "Am I Evil" from Metallica. And I could play a couple of tunes, but I wasn't really refined or anything. So eventually the band kind of dissolved and the guys went and played with another guy. But that's the thing, like I can only do so much. I had my regular job to worry about, and
sure,
of course we were practicing like within my living room of my townhome. So very thin walls, and people, but the funny thing is neighbors would always come to me and they go, "Yeah, was that your band playing?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You guys are pretty good." Like, oh,
that's cool. Like having cool neighbors, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that didn't last too long, but that just reminds me a little bit of that. Okay, so Brody and Zach, the band's formed, and of course Zach is kind of one of these guys that doesn't mind getting into trouble. So he invites Brody out to explore an abandoned house for apparently a legendary musician named Ricky Daggers.
Yeah,
and
that's a cool name.
Yeah, they stumble upon Daggers, who hands them a mysterious album before being killed by a man named Vadin. So this album apparently is like it's funny enough was it 2 years earlier when Zombies Lords of Salem came out. So the theme is similar. Like that one started with like a record that was sort of possessing people and women mainly in that film. This was sort of similar way. They start playing the music of the record and everything, and as they're playing it, the surrounding folks in the town start becoming possessed. So like one moment his uncle's like, as you said, the Evil Dead, like the white eyes and hollow mouth and just starting to spit blood, and then all of a sudden when they stop playing, everything's back to normal. He's like, what the hell happened, dude?
Yeah, he like just wipes his eyes. It's like there's blood coming down like that. Oh, he's like, oh, okay.
And so and anyway, we didn't mention that they were going through names and they were going through some pretty crazy shit. And then finally, Zach's like, Deathgasm.
Yeah, all capital letters.
Yeah, and I think it was
there's
like
lower cases for pussies.
Dan Ghouls or somebody was like, well, if we do this, no, I said it, Deathgasm.
Yeah.
And that is a pretty badass name, really. So
it is. What was it? One of the unicorn?
Oh yeah, unicorn, cannibal unicorn, or unicorn corpse or something. They were trying to play like cannibal corpse.
Yeah. Yeah.
But while they have this music, Brody discovers that the sheet music is an actual like type of black hymn that will summon demons. Like he's figured this out. It's like I think he said it was in, what was he called it? Old Latin or something?
Yeah, Latin. He was looking it up in a book in class and that like deciphering it, and then he realized it has power. And because he's getting picked on all the time, he's like, I'm gonna use this and I'm gonna become powerful, and my cousin ain't gonna mess with me anymore. And well, he got a little more than he bargained for.
Yeah. but it's sort of during this early part of the exploration of the music and with Zach and everything that he actually ends up kind of striking up a little friendship with our girl Medina here, uh, wearing his quartz paint. So like she's very intrigued about him, and he starts talking about, yeah, I'll give you some music to listen to. The first CD he actually was trying to hand her was Anal Cunt.
Yeah.
She's like, they says, no, not that one, this one.
Yeah.
But it is kind of funny because there's an early moment, and it happens twice. The early moments when they're in that classroom and Dina and Giles are arguing about Dungeon and Dragon, and he starts fantasizing about playing guitar on top of this mountain. And he's got this chick there at his leg, just grabbing. It's like the typical, heavy metal poster or album cover. And his eyes like shoot out lasers and take off her top, so she's cutting boobs out and everything.
That would be
and
my
then later
power.
on, Medina is kind of like jamming to the music that he gave her, and she starts fantasizing about her being on top of this mountain with two other girls kissing below her, which I thought that was great.
Yeah, it was great.
I thought I was halfway thinking though that during that little fantasy she was having, that maybe she was gonna be like, well, this is my fantasy. I want two dudes worshiping me or something crazy. I thought that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that it was two girls. That was good enough for me.
Yeah. And then afterwards she's like, whoa. Because she was like listening to like a typical no, I don't think it was like a boy band, but it was like shitty music
like
that
power
they
metal
kind
or
of have
something.
now.
Yeah,
no, she was listening. She wasn't listening to anything good. It was like the happy radio kind of shit, and then she puts that on. It's whoa. And she had a badass.
Well, that's the thing. He was trying to explain to her the feeling of, because she was like at first saying, wasn't it just like a bunch of dudes screaming? He's like, no.
Yeah.
And then he tried to explain everything. He's like, it's just a feeling, you really feel the power. And that's sort of that moment that she had. She's like, whoa.
Yep. Yeah, he's like, no, that's this. And maybe death metal and this kind and this kind and that kind. So yeah, I guess so. He's like, but yeah, he made her into a metalhead, that's for sure.
Yeah, I had to say the ending shot with her all goth out, sort of. It's a good look for her.
Hell yeah.
Hell the fuck yeah.
She
was actually one of the biggest badasses in the film too, in terms of when we start getting into the chaos that erupts. Like, she's actually holding her own pretty well.
Yep. That's for sure. I think if I had a weapon, I always thought about that, like you play Diablo and shit. I always thought I would want a battle axe. I think that would be my weapon. Like, just woof.
Yeah, I think I had to wonder. I don't know. I didn't really read up on it, but she was like flipping that axe around very quick. Yeah, I was like, dude, she was wielding that shit. I was like, damn, girl.
I know.
Got some skills. But the thing about Brody with her is that early on he's very kind of shy, so he doesn't really make a lot of moves, and she actually teases him on the bench, which I thought was brilliant. She's like, I want a tattoo like either here or down here on her thigh, and he's like, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah,
it's a good area, or I mean,
ever so polite. But that leads to a moment where Zach, of course, is kind of the cock blocking dickhead that he is. Finds a note or a letter that she tries to send to Brody, and he intercepts it, and then meets her when she's out waiting for him one night on the bench, and he's like, yeah, he's just not interested in you, and then Zach's trying to make the moves, lends her the coat, and they start making out. He keeps trying to push it further. She's like, nah, thanks. But so we know that moment's going to come back to haunt somebody. So how do you like where the movie's at right now? Like, what are your feelings on it all?
Well, right when he did that, I thought I was like, what an asshole. Like that, like, I can't believe he did that. Like, I mean, I can believe it, but like at the same time, it's like, that's a real low blow. And it's like, like you said, it's going to come back to bite somebody in the ass. And I don't know, after just seeing that, it kind of like because I think Zach is a really cool character, but just that alone, like I'm just like he's an asshole. Like I always like Brody, but I like Zach's attitude with things. But yet I've known guys like that in high school, and they're not heroes. They're just jerks. But
Right.
at that point in time, it's kind of like what the hell's going to happen when he finds out, because he's a skinny guy. Skittle. He's a skittle.
Skittle. He's a skittle.
Oh, there's a skinny little guy, a skittle.
Skittles and bits.
Copyright patent sent to Harrisburg. That's what we say around here if we like copyright something. I don't know where that came from. Shayna did it.
Just blame her.
Yeah. Blame her. Well, she's downstairs sleeping.
It's only 8 o'clock.
Well, she's napping till we're done. I should say that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then
she has to make the food and everything. No. No, I didn't shower. I don't feel clean anyway.
You're a manly man.
I'm a manly man. Like Zach.
You're a manwich.
Oh, I could say something, but I'm not gonna.
Okay, so Brody, he starts figuring out more about the Black Hand, and he's, as you said earlier, he's going to try to use this power now to get back at his enemies and the guys that keep bullying him and messing with him.
Yeah. His cousin beat before they do the second time the song.
Yeah.
They beat him up really bad. Like,
rip
his earring out and just beat the crap out of him. And I never understood that too, because he's like, what are you gonna do? Tell my dad he hates you like I do? But like, I think if they would have saw him come home with that and he said he did it, I think they would have like probably been like, what the hell?
But I don't know, because the way that the dynamic was set up, I think, and of course, in real life we like to think that's the case, but
true.
This is one of these things where the aunt and uncle really don't care for him anyway. Like, they don't hate him, but it's like, they just rather not deal with him.
Yeah.
And I think, I would assume that David's like the golden child of the family or something, because he's not like into the heavy metal stuff and all this, and they probably think he's an innocent little guy. So it's just one of those things. They're probably like, David would be like, yeah, that was somebody else, man. It wasn't us. That was somebody else.
That's true. And then he's going out with Medina somehow.
Yeah.
And
well, she quickly puts that down.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like,
she's like, not really.
Believe it or not, bullying isn't exactly a turn on.
Yeah. So yeah, in fact, that moment was a good moment because he's looking at his room and it's kind of trash, and then he's looking through his box and there's a picture. I guess he tore up after his mother died or something, because it was him and his mother, and it was a very painful moment. Of course, they're switching back from looking at him all busted up and kind of teary-eyed to Zach making out with Medina on the bench. So it's like you almost think that maybe he knows they're there doing that, but it wasn't, because he didn't have any idea until later. But for some reason they were just kind of going back and forth between those scenes, and so pretty interesting with that. But that was a nice moment for Brody to kind of just recall his mom and everything.
Yeah.
Just kind of going through the pain that he's going through. But then we have this other situation where I forget the dude's name, but he's like this suit and tie guy, and he's part of a cult, and he's got, they're trying to get a hold of this hymn because they're into the cult, and they wanted this hymn to be the ones to summon the blind one for the power. Yeah. And so we've got this going on. Then you've got also in the music store earlier, her name's Abigail. She's like a
tarot reading.
Yeah. So they'll come into play a bit later, but anyway, certainly Brody starts playing the music again. He now wants to gain that power, and they actually start playing.
Yeah.
And to the point where they all pass out. Like, it's so intoxicating, and like just the possession or whatever is going on. But it's funny because it makes them kind of like pass out, but everything around them just turns people into zombies and the
Yeah.
Evil Dead, basically.
Only people that hear it too. That's the one thing. Because not everybody's affected. It's just whoever's in earshot, and they're playing loud metal out of a garage. But then the garage door, because of the powers, it opens up. So then like the sound goes out even further. And that's why like his neighborhoods start getting affected, which was kind of cool. Like, I mean, it was cool. But it's like,
I like too when they finally came to from passing out that Brody jumped on. I was like, I don't know. Do I look any different? Do I look powerful? And then Zach hits him. He says, nope.
Yeah. One thing's for sure, his eye healed pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I thought maybe that would did something, but no. I think it was just a thing.
But the idea was, now that they've played the song, which I think he realizes he didn't play in the correct order.
Yeah.
But what happens is you still infect the town with the song, and then according to the suit and tie guy, like in order,
I think his name is Uncle Albert. It says Uncle Albert, but
maybe that's what it is.
That must be,
or is that his actual uncle?
I don't know, because it might be, but I can't remember that guy's name.
All right, let me
Oh, maybe you're right. That's Uncle Albert. David Byron.
I'm just trying to see.
No, Byron's with Abigail. It's
okay,
weird.
so
it's
that
like
end, he's the guy that they kill in front of the desk. So he was the one that actually killed Daggers.
Yeah.
And so he was the one supposed to get the music for this suit and tie guy, who I'm not even sure who he is. It could be Byron. I mean, give me a picture?
I don't remember what they said his name was, but like I don't even recognize his picture any here. I don't see it. But
yeah, I don't know. Either way, like there's also another chick, and I don't even know if she's listed in here either. Maybe she's Shanna, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's the other one that like ends up betraying him.
Yeah.
I don't know if her name, they didn't actually say her name. I don't think it's either Shayna or Shauna.
Yeah.
That's how Shayna spells her name, but it looks like Shauna.
Well, it could be Shauna. Either way, like the idea is that you have to find the most evil person before 3 a.m. to gain the power of the blind one. So, of course, suit and tie guy is talking to, I think it's David, who's been possessed, and he's talking out his ass about, yeah, you gotta do this, you gotta kill Brody and get to him and all this stuff. And you get these kind of like fucked up faces. Like I love the special effects in this were amazing.
Yeah.
Just downright great and very creepy and gory. Way we like it. But so yeah, they're explaining, the demons explaining to him that you got to do this, and of course that's when the chick who's part of that cult backstabs him and says, no, I want the power, and so on and so on. And so now her task is, of course, to get Brody and the others and kill them and get the him back. And stuff like that. But that's not before chaos erupts. Like the town is infected with all these possessed demons and whatnot, and they're just coming after people, attacking people on the streets. One of my favorite moments is when Brody and Zach are entering, I think it's his house or somebody else's house, and they go into a room to lock out the two parent zombies or whatever they're out there, and they're going through some stuff to try and find some weapons. They first pause anal beads, but they didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And so fucking Brody's sniffing. He's like, ugh. And then like Zach pulls out this big black 2-headed dildo and slaps it against his face and his mouth. He's like, ah.
Yeah. And the funny thing about that was too that it was in a box called church stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, maybe there's some crosses in here we could use. Nope. Because that was Brody's aunt and uncle.
Because when they first pulled out the anal beads, it's like, what was those rosary beads?
Rosary beads. The balls are like this big.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
god,
so
that's for the
anyway,
like
they end up
real big sins.
they end up using this as they come out of the room, and he's like swinging that dildo around,
Oh,
smacking him in the face.
that is so funny. Oh my god. It's like all slow
Oh
motion,
man,
and it hits him in the face.
yeah, it's so great, man.
It's
I
not
could
doing
not
shit.
stop laughing. Oh shit! So yeah, we got a
What
lot
would
of
you
chaos
rather
going.
fight with? The two-headed or the anal beads?
Oh, it's got to be two-headed. Anything with that sucker was like this thick.
Yeah, true.
I think that's how he got the idea, because he smacked Brody first in the mouth with it, and then he's like, "Hey, yeah." And so Brody's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna use this to go whip some ass." But but we saw Dia and Giles. They were trying to find Brody as well, so they went to his house,
yeah.
and he wasn't there. They were clearly elsewhere at the time, but they're being attacked by one of these demons, and then we have a great axe shot to the head that comes
Yeah.
out of nowhere. And of course, our wonderful, beautiful girl here, Medina, is showing her skills. And the funny thing is, she takes it so well. Like, it's not like she's not even asking questions. She's like, "You guys okay? Wasn't that cool? I should have had like a catchphrase or something." So she started going on about like, "Yeah, you really axed that one, axed that one coming to you," or something,
Yeah.
some weird ass catchphrase. But it was, she just was taking it in stride, and like they're just like, "Okay, yeah, let's go to school." And now they're all going to meet at the school.
Mhm. Yeah, they leave a note on the door for him. And
But
then
Zach again takes down.
right.
He's again like,
They were shooting. The one guy, the drummer, he had a paintball gun, and then he like put the D&D
oh,
dice in it,
the D&D dice.
and then like hit him in the face. And the other, he had like Hulk gloves. It's like they're not prepared. These weapons suck. Like they're not prepared for it. And then luckily she came along. They were gonna be goners, but yeah, she came out fucking like real badass. I kind of know, like the way things are nowadays, it kind of feel like some people would be like that. They'd be like, all right, we're taking action because we've seen so many movies and we know what to do, and kind of like it's scary, but like we're prepared kind of for this.
Well, I always get kind of giddy because I see, I don't know about where you're at, but I always see occasionally vehicles in our area where they say zombie response squad or something, and I'm
Oh,
like, that's cool. Like,
yeah.
then that'd be the way I would, because if it was a zombie invasion, I see one of those trucks, I'm like, they know what I'm talking about. I'm going where they are.
Yeah, follow them home, and then if something happens, just go right to their house.
Yeah. But so yeah, they managed to get out, and they kind of there's a point in the film where both Brody and Zach are trying to find the others, and Zach's like wanting to bolt out of town. Like, he's like, "Fuck this town, I don't care about it," because his dad's dead. They had to kill him in the garage earlier in the film. But Brody's like, "No, we got to go back. We gotta fix this." And so eventually they do, and they get to the school, and they find the others there. And then there's the moment where we have, like, at one point she's kind of shining off Brody earlier, a few scenes earlier, because after the teacher freaks out into the classroom that one day,
Yeah.
she kind of ignores Brody, and he doesn't really know why. But then he sits down with her, and he's like, "Yeah, how you doing?" And she's like, "Okay." And then she's like, "I got the message you weren't interested in." He's like, "Who told you that?"
Yeah.
And
Like
of
what?
course,
No.
Zach, and then that starts to unravel. And so, Zach in pure form, he's just like, "Look, dude, you need to grow some balls. I don't really care about her. I was bored," which I'm sure made her feel great.
Yeah.
But that pisses off Brody, so they start fist fighting a little bit. To which Zach takes off. He's like, "You're all gonna die."
Yeah. And he's like, I'm out of here. I'm just gonna the hell with them, and then they're left to fend for themselves and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a part too where she was like saving the Dion and the other guy, that where they're still fighting the aunt and uncle, and Brody gets a chainsaw and like really gives her like the guts are falling out and everything, and she's still coming at him. And then I forget how they exactly kill her, but like then the uncle was the better death, because that's where Zach was like taking the double header and like, fuck you, and in his mouth, and then the jaw just comes off. It's so good. And then that's where the cousin walks in, and he's like, what the and then Brody goes, and cuts his head off. He's like, was he possessed? Yeah, he was clearly possessed. You didn't see he was talking about Satan.
No, dude, I think he was okay. No, didn't you hear him say something like Satan or something?
Yeah,
like I heard
that is 100% something I would do. If somebody treated me like shit and this happened, oh, bets are off, buddy. Yeah,
because who's gonna complain and be like, dude, man, it was crazy. You don't know.
You ain't going
Even
to
if
jail.
it was legit, dude, it was an accident. I didn't mean to do it, but you know, it is what it is.
In the moment, I thought he was a demon.
Yeah. I was under pressure, man. Deserved. Too much pressure.
He definitely got what he deserved. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah. That was a good, nice scene too.
A lot of like dismemberments and like and the blood is over, like not over the top in a bad way. Like it's just like so bloody and gory, and like the one part where they cut the body in half, and like there's just like on the top part, it's just all like blood there, like just sitting there. It like looks so real and cool. It was like just so fun. And the demons are like cocky too, like, you know, talking about eating your soul and stuff like that. And they kind of have that Evil Deadish laugh to them, like it's like high pitched and low pitched and all mixed up. They're like so cool. And plus it was cool too, because like the demon what is it, Aloth, I think his name is Airlock or something like that. He's like the blind one, and they all have their eyes gone in like honor of, I guess, him. And that was really cool too. And the part with Zach's father was pretty cool.
I see you.
Yeah. And like the engine falls on his head, and they're like, I'm gonna check his pulse. He's like, well, considering the fact that he has an engine for a head, you know.
Yeah. And then Zach's like, I think it's okay. He wouldn't want to go out this way. And then Brody starts going like, wait a minute. You think he wanted to have his eyes gouged out and then have an engine fall on him? That's how you want to go? It's like, yeah.
Totally. Okay.
I did like the scene back with the guy at the desk, Vadin, who ends up losing his head. The two guys in cloaks that come up and chop it off. And then the guy behind it was like, no, you're supposed to put a tarp down first and then kill him. Do it again. And they're like looking at you like, is this guy a moron? Like, so they end up trying to prop the head back on the body and then throw down a tarp with the blood already on the floor.
Yeah, that part, that they're like, the way he does it too, like they put the tarp and then the head, and he just goes, then he goes, like, is that good?
Yeah, right.
so funny. Like that's like the thing. Like it's funny, but it's also gory and stuff. It's like I'd say it's more horror. I don't know. It's kind of even, really. Mm-hmm. It's kind of even, which I think it has the perfect equality of it.
I mean, if you were doing a double feature, you could do this and Evil Dead and wouldn't miss a beat.
That's true.
Perfect. Yeah.
Very true.
So at the school, Brody and them, because Zach has left, they end up getting captured by Shayna and the rest of the cult. And she starts kind of like attempting to tear up the sheets and, you know, get it all fucked up. But then Zach shows up to save them. And he's got his corpse paint back on. And he's talking about, yeah, I'm here to save you all, you know. And so they kind of bond. They all forgive each other and this shit. And of course, Medina's like, really? That easy, huh?
Yeah. He's like, what did she say to him? Like about his, like, you had to get your makeup on. Would that take 10, 15 minutes? You couldn't. It's no makeup. It's corpse paint. Or is that what it's called?
Paint.
Yeah, corpse paint. Like you go into battle. You got to put on your corpse paint, you know? Which looks awesome. I always thought like that corpse paint always looks so fucking cool. The eyes pop. He's like, oh, I like it. I think your eyes like really pop with it or something like that. But it's true. They look like like Zach doesn't look like Zach anymore.
I
when
think
he
she
has
said
it.
it brings out the color in his eyes.
Brings
or
out the
some
color in your eyes. Yeah.
try and make it all romantic. Well, the funny thing is Neko has like these face masks that she uses for beauty, and they're actually quartz paint, so that she can. It's like a sheet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so she probably should tell Shane about it because they're kind of cool. I wouldn't do one myself, but it's for girls and it's supposed to look all cool and shit. But she's done a couple before. It's pretty neat.
Hmm.
A nice little idea. I think it's some girl that just did like it was her own creation or something.
One
But
guy, the drummer, when because they were doing that music video, which was like kind of crazy.
that was totally fucking immortal what they were trying to do there. The out of the forest and all that shit.
Yeah, I have seen Immortal before. Like I've seen videos, so yeah, I know what you're talking about. But like that one guy, he kind of looked like Peter Criss. Like
Yeah,
with the makeup.
yeah.
He just
Well, they
had
were
an extra line.
struggling to find like identities.
Yeah.
And then
And the
I don't know who I
keyboardist,
think the
like they put the
cameraman who was
sword in the gown, and he's going like this.
yeah,
on it.
that's what I say.
It's
He's
like,
like jacking off, and I'm like, what?
you don't get it, do you?
Yeah,
They
it's
look
so
like a
cool.
fun bunch of guys, though. Like I would
Oh yeah,
love to like hang out with them.
yeah. I'm sure that everyone had a blast making this. It seems like it would have been something they really enjoyed doing,
Yeah.
But so Shayna got the sheets, and at this point, Brody figures he's got to basically play the song in reverse to get everything to go back to normal.
Yeah.
And so he starts doing it, but what ends up happening is his buddies Giles and Dion end up getting killed. Like they can't finish because they've been chased down by other demons, and so I think it might be Giles is the drummer. I think Dion's the other one.
Yeah,
And
Dion is the heavier guy.
okay, so Giles is the one. They just pull his head right off his body. I was like, damn.
Yeah, they both had good deaths though.
Oh yeah,
Like
definitely.
he got a drummer without arms is not much of Def Leppard, but that's a little different. That's one arm, not two. Is there any drummers with no arms?
Yeah, what all together?
Like
there's one with one. We Nick and I were just talking about it last night. It's Rick Allen from Def Leppard.
Yeah, as I just said, Def Leppard, he has one arm, but this is no arms. So like, is there anybody who actually is a paraplegic that like can play drums with no arms, like has like fake ones or something? I don't know.
Don't think so.
Probably in a Creed cover band or something. The Hook has to replace his like drums every fucking practice. His drum heads.
Oh my god!
The song's called "Boof."
You know how you have to like.
The song's called "Hook and Mouth" by Megadeth.
You know, the hook into the prosthesis.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like screw-in drumsticks, and then he can.
Maybe he plays with his nose.
Yeah.
So this looks like it's a behind the scenes photo. So you were talking about how it might be fun. I think it, that does look like they're having a blast. Nice death shirt, by the way. Yeah, go those horns. Gotta love it.
Mm-hmm. Now here's a question for you. This is a real question. Does the corpse paint, how they like have it, is there like a certain way you have it, or is it just like however you want to do it? Like, does this
it's more how you want to do it, but for some, like for King Diamond or the guys from Immortal, like a bath, they've had it for so long that's their identity. Well, King Diamond does, but it's all similar in some ways, like
yeah.
But it is like an identity for some of them.
Well, so like if somebody sees you with it differently every time, then it's like I know Brody's had that like upside down cross, and then he had his, and then Zach had his. So like that doesn't like mean something, right? Like it's just like their design.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just a design.
I was wondering what I would have. I never did that before. The only closest I ever did that was going as Ace Frehley.
Well, I'm surprised that Gene has never come out and said, you know what, Quartz paint's our idea. I should copyright that. You owe me money.
Mm.
I think you might have tried that once with a Bath, and Bath's like, dude, get fucked.
Well, didn't King Diamond sue them, or somebody sued Kiss for that, or
Well,
something back
Kiss
in the
might
day?
have tried to sue King Diamond or somebody, but there's no way they're gonna win that.
No, somebody did it first.
Well, Kiss was doing it like the face paint for a long time, but I don't even know if you can call that quartz paint. It is similar, but I don't think that G&M said to themselves, "Yeah, we got quartz paint on." No, they just were painting themselves up.
Yeah.
Whereas with the black metal scene, it was all about their actual identity as like black metal musicians and the lyrical content that they were. It's all part of that scene,
Right.
and it's still part of it for many years now. So even though Kiss dropped it in the 80s, the other bands kept doing it.
Yeah.
Let's see. So yeah, the two buddies die, and then at some point, Aeoloth possesses Shayna's body, and of course, her top comes off. You got to have the boobies,
Yeah.
and lightning sparks up, but then she gets impaled from behind, and lo and behold, it's Zach, and he gets possessed by Aeoloth, and this is what our homie looks like. Looks like he just came out of Buffy the Vampire Slayer series on TV.
Yeah.
Talking some mad shit.
It's actually kabuki makeup.
Kabuki?
Okay, like Japanese kabuki makeup. I was trying to.
Okay, well that makes sense.
I was trying to think of the word, so I had to look it up. I remember I put like Japanese theater makeup, and it's called kabuki makeup. It's
Oh, the Kabuki man.
Makeup.
So that means the Japanese can sue them.
Yeah, they've been doing it for a lot longer.
Yeah.
Like hundreds
Yeah,
of
it was
years.
kind of funny. The Japanese said, "You know what, dickhead? You want to sue people? We're going to come sue you.
Yeah.
You didn't get permission to do that."
No. Yeah.
But yeah, so Aeoloth is now possessed into Zach, and they can't really finish the song. So, in order to stop Zach from killing his ass, he starts playing intense heavy metal. He just starts shredding, doing the crazy guitar crap that he was doing earlier.
Yeah.
And somehow this gets Aeoloth to temporarily retreat from Zach's body. At this point, Zach urges Brody to kill him to prevent Aeoloth's resurrection. So to keep the possession from coming back, he's like, just kill me and be done with it. And then he does sacrifice himself to save the town.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a really funny scene. Like you don't really expect it, because I thought it was going to go a lot darker at the end. But so we do have that moment with Brody and Medina in the bedroom, and obviously they just finished having buku time. And she's now got the full like piercing and the nice goth look a little bit.
Yep.
Knows her metal. She loves her metal like him, and so they're happy. So she wanders out of the room, and all of a sudden, like the stereo that's been playing heavy metal, you hear Zach's voice, like the demon Aeoloth saying, I forget what he says, but he's like, "Yeah, I'm coming to get you again," or something. So, Brody's rushing to get his clothes on, and then you hear Zach come back in his regular voice. "I'm just kidding, dude. Just messing with you."
Yeah. Like, what's it like being dead?
Yeah.
Oh, hell's awesome. He's like naming all these people down there, like Paul McCartney's down there and Dio and all that stuff. And that's actually a hidden scene at the end, because it just goes Brody or Zach, and then it starts with the music and the credits.
Yeah.
So you have to watch to the end to see that part.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I feel like I do that. I used to do that before it was a thing. Like I would like see if there was anything, and now it seems like it's always something. So always check the end of a movie. That's for sure.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like very fast. So like I remember, even though he's never appeared in any of the recent Evil Dead movies, the 2013, you have Ash at the end saying groovy, but he never appears at all.
You had to wait like 25 minutes for that too.
You're right. Yeah.
Everybody in the theater knew, like I remember saying, people were going, "Don't leave. There's something at the end I've heard." And nobody said what. And then that happens. And everybody's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, that was cool, but like it could have been sooner.
Well, I started getting used to because Neko and I, obviously when we were watching all the legendary kaiju films, they were doing those Easter eggs in Marvel too. So like
Mm-hmm.
now, whenever I catch one of those films, I'm like, all right, I got to go on the internet real quick and see if anybody's talking about Easter eggs at the end. Because if it says there's nothing there, I can just leave.
Yeah.
If not, I got to wait through like a ton of fucking credits because it takes so much work into some of these fucking big ass franchises.
Yeah.
That they got so many
Oh.
people working on these films. That it's like, damn. But with like Deathgasm, it's not that long. It's like, okay, just scroll through and you're done.
Right.
But they were at one point talking about doing a sequel to this.
Yep.
And I don't even know if there's any more word on it, but I think a lot of people would like one. I just, obviously it's might be kind of hard to beat this one, but that's usually the case anyway with beating the originals. But
Yeah, I've read the idea of it on IMDb, and like the original cast is coming back and everything. They got to think this is 10 years ago too.
yeah, it's
that this
crazy. I didn't
came
think
out.
it doesn't feel like that long.
No, I can't believe that. But do you know the whole premise for their? I don't know if it's set in stone, but like,
I don't think I know anything of it. I mean, obviously I remember they were talking about it, but
yeah,
because so much time's passed, I was like, well, they're probably just not going to do it. Like,
yeah. There's no date on it, but the whole premise is basically, uh, Brody and Medina are still together, but then he's trying to get the band back together, and nobody's working out. So he wants to summon his
Zach.
Zach and them to come back and do it. And then she breaks up with Brody, and then she starts going out with another guy from an emo core band that's also like they're probably going to win the battle of the bands. So that's why this. And then of course
Okay.
things happen, and whatever. So I think it might be a fun movie, but it doesn't sound like it's going to have the heart of this one. It just sounds like a Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey kind of thing.
Well, it'd probably be good. I like the concept, but like we're 10 years into it now. So like how much longer are you guys gonna wait? Like
Yeah.
if you go another 5 years, you might have to like treat them as if Medina and Brody are married and their kids are doing something or something. But you don't want to wait too long.
Yeah, but if it's their kids, they're going to be like 9 years old. I don't want to watch
Well,
that.
yeah, I'm just saying, like, they can say that so much time has passed. I mean, you can age people.
True. That's another thing too. The other ones are dead, so they got to come back not looking different. Well, at least
yeah.
actually, you could probably
that's
just
why I think
zombie
it's
them
great
up.
if he can resurrect those guys. That'd be great. Like that's a fun thing to do, especially with a battle of bands. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
But
I think the keyboardist, I think he's the one who actually, because of being called a nerd and all that picked on, I think he, as his demon person, like flips out, and that's where everything starts going. That's what it says. Like, but whether or not they're going to do that, I'm all for watching one. But if they're going to do it, they better do it soon.
yeah, I mean, it's can't be that hard to write it. I don't think. Especially with that concept, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Again, it's kind of a little bit like Bill and Ted, but that's okay too because it's more darker and horrific than
it's
Bill
the
and
total
Ted's.
opposite, right? Like the other one was God gave rock and roll to you. This one's coming from hell.
And that would be a good punchline. Satan gave rock and roll to you.
Hell yeah. Ha! No pun intended.
Just redo the Kiss track, Just
yeah.
Satan give the rock and roll to you.
Satan gives rock and roll to you. I wish I could do that loud, but I can't.
Loud. Low, la, 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 Luke.
Where'd
you send them?
Where'd you send them?
Where'd you send them?
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's kabuki stuff.
Yeah, it kind of does suck that like the band dies and that, but
well, that's a nice twist though, because you would expect that everybody would survive, and that's this way it doesn't play out that way.
Yeah,
but they still have fun with it in the end. Like again with Zach on the radio or whatever.
They should have like had her die too, and then like she stays around enough that she's like, like at the end of Shaun of the Dead where he keeps Ed. They should do that where she has enough sense that she, maybe love conquers, but she can't come back as a human. She stays a demon.
I don't know. That's risky sex there,
That's metal.
I mean, I've seen zombie movies where they try to attempt crazy shit like that. Like, yeah, I think it was like Return of the Living Dead 3, I think. Because like she was sexy as hell, but all the glass and the craziness. I'm like, no.
It's been a long time since I've seen that, but yeah, she was pretty good looking for a zombie.
So, rating, what would you give Deathgasm?
Oh, 10. I like it a lot. I don't know what it is, but I feel like when I rewatch a lot of movies like this, I like it more this time. I don't know what it is, but like I enjoyed this so much watching it today, and I think laughed at it.
Yeah, it still makes you laugh. Like if you pull up a film, even if you really loved it as a kid or in your 20s or whatever, and you find yourself not quite laughing at it anymore, like you'll still like it, but it's not as fresh. But Deathgasm, like today, I watched it again before we did it, and I was like, I still laughed hard at everything. I was like, it was still funny as hell.
Yeah.
So
Especially
it's a 10 out of 10 for me too. I really enjoyed this film a lot. Sadly, I don't own it. I should, but I haven't gotten it yet.
I have it. I think it's over there somewhere. If I don't have it, I did have it, but I don't know why I would have got rid of it. So
I doubt you would have got rid of it.
No.
You knew right away once I brought it up that we were doing it. You're like, oh yeah, I have that.
Yeah. Hell yeah, I got that movie. That was like I saw it and I like instantly went and bought it.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago.
So do you know what well, we're not doing a show next week.
Yeah, next week we're not doing it.
The one after, do you know what we plan on doing?
I do. I have a list here of 5 movies I was going to pick from, but I think I'm going to go with sci-fi this time with a sci-fi movie, and it's going to be Free Jack.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that forever, and I love the movie, and I hope I still like it.
I can't remember if I liked it or not. It's been a long time. I think that has Mick Jagger and Emilio Estevez in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I can't remember her name, but she was in like Lethal Weapon 3 and some other things. Renee
Russo? Yes.
That's funny. Really poop.
Yeah, I was making sure I had the name right. I was like, I know it's Russo is definitely the last name. I was like, is it Renee? I'm pretty sure it's Renee.
Mick Jagger, from what I remember in that movie, because when I first saw it when I was younger, I didn't know the Rolling Stones. I just knew he was a singer.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this guy's pretty cool. I like him, And then it's like, oh, wow, he sings in that band? Oh, shit. And so, like, I saw him as an actor first.
Oh,
so
wow.
I really liked him. Yeah. And I remember really liking this movie, time travel in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah. So I thought something
is it
different.
Time travel, or is it more just kind of like repeating or fixing time? I can't remember.
It's kind of like taking him out of that moment in time and bringing him to the future.
Yeah.
So it is, but it isn't. But it's a very cool movie. I haven't seen a movie like that since, in that vein, and I love that kind of stuff. And what the hell is his name from that? The New York Dolls is in it.
I don't know.
He was the ghost in Scrooge, the cab driver. He's in that too, and he's like I can't remember his name, but he's like a great character. So I was just thinking, like, yeah, you know what? Getting away from horror a little bit. You went to the mystical Dungeons and Dragons, not Dungeons and Dragons, Dragons route.
It's got a lot of big names. You got Anthony Hopkins, Amanda Plummer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So it's got a few people in there.
Yep. I think their future that they go to obviously is like way in our past now too, which is kind of
sad. Yeah, well, I always laugh when I see like I forget what I was watching, but the film obviously was from a few years ago, and they're like, "Yeah, the future is 2020." I'm like, "Ugh, we're way beyond that."
Yeah. Or what was in Predator 2? Did he go to like 1997 or something like that?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
oh man. Some of
yeah,
them get it like close, and some of them are way far off.
yeah. Well, I
Everybody
think
wants
what
some
was it?
F5.
Well, I think I can't remember the year they had, but Escape from New York, they were actually like early 2000s or something. It was really crazy, or maybe that was 97. I think
I think New York was 99.
it's either
1999.
97 or 99, but it was
Yeah.
definitely late 90s.
Yeah.
So I was like, damn.
Yeah. And look how
We're not we're
long
not
part.
quite that bleak yet.
Yeah. Look at how long ago it was since 2015, like that back when that Back to the Future Part 2 first came out. It was like so far ahead. And now it's like, we're 2024 right now. Depending on when you're watching, it might be 2115. I don't know. If this
So do
is
you have anything
around by
coming
then.
up on your channel or?
No, just this review next time. I guess, like you said in the beginning, we're probably going to try to do 2 after your
Yeah.
move and everything, because that's
Yeah.
next week, right?
Yeah, the next week I probably won't be online except for maybe my top 5, but I'll be packing a lot and getting everything ready for the following week when we move. So I'm hoping by the 12th and 13th I'm back online. Got some stuff that I have already lined up on the schedule, but I may have to move them if we're not quite in yet, because we also got to figure out our internet situation, which is different than what we're dealing with now. So I don't know how that's going to be. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully there's no hiccups or anything like that, but it's not quite as fast as what we got out here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, but we'll see, because apparently it's some people use it and they're not having any really problems with it, I don't think, but we'll see.
Well, good luck with
Well,
that. I hate a shitty internet connection.
yeah.
Spoiled. We have like the fastest internet connection.
But we got Thanksgiving tomorrow, so I hope everyone has a good holiday, including Mr. Dead here and his family.
Yeah, well, I like to look at it like this. I like Rocky said, like, it may be Thanksgiving to you, but to me it's Thursday.
Yeah.
But we don't have turkey this year. We couldn't get one. Walmart substituted our turkey with a chicken. So we're having chicken tomorrow.
Wow. So yeah, we'll be going down to visit her parents. So we gotta make the trip down to Delaware, where we'll be moving to, at least in that area, and then spending Thanksgiving with them. But she's gonna stay for the weekend with her mom and dad, and then I'm coming back tomorrow night. So I'm gonna go there, eat, and come back, because I gotta take care of our 4-legged children and whatnot. But then Friday I've got Cinematic Synergy with Kevin at 1. We're going to review 1986's Savage Dawn with Lance Henriksen.
Oh.
And then later in the evening, I'll be filling again with Samurai for Rick Myers, and I'll be doing Action Film Autopsy. He's got some films that he's going to talk about as usual. But yeah, outside of that, I think Saturday there's a couple of things between Jet Jaguar with Jedi Veil for the Kaiju Spotlight that I'm doing, and then later I think you're going to be there for a Tarantula review with Kevin Lambert.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we got a few things in the pot that we're doing, but outside of that, not a whole lot. But anyway, give us your thoughts, people. What do you think about this film? Do you have as much fun with it as we do? Comment down below, and please go subscribe to Mr. Tony the Dead. It's got a lot of great content on his channel, a lot of great unboxings. And subscribe and like this video if you would. It will be up tonight. And Tony, thank you for being here as usual, my brother.
No problem.
And for the rest of you, enjoy your holidays, and we will see you next time on the Ghouls of Midnight.
You see me for